Hey guys, welcome back to Fandom Sage Powers, where we discuss heroes, villains, and the dawn. We are tuning back in with X Factor issue number 3 right now. Uh-oh! Dirkhead and the gang should have sprung for an official licensed headshot TV power null trap instead of a cheap knockoff. Because it looks like both Northstar and Polaris have already regained the use of their powers. That can't be good for the opposing pod. Ooh, ouch. X Factor has made short work of Dirkhead's amateur pod. But keep bumping this feed because thanks to our illustrious benefactor, executive producer, and democratically elected ruler, the all-powerful King Mojo, Spiral Showcase now gets the honor of having the new X Factor as stream guests first. Let's go check in with the victors and see how they're feeling. Drop an emote in the chat to give thanks to our Supreme Leader for his most holy content curation. Welcome to Spiral Showcase X Factor. Don't be shy. Go ahead, say hello to all your fans here in the Mojoverse. We're X Factor Investigations, and we're here about the dead mutants. Hi, turn the cameras off so we can talk. Viewers, why do you think he wants to talk about the dead girl? Let us know your thoughts in the chat. Don't play coy. We already know the victim was on your show, Spiral. Maybe let's start with who she was. Her identity was hidden behind a paywall. Oh, that's just good marketing. Her identity hasn't been revealed to non-subscribers yet because I wanted to live stream X Factor's reaction. Tell me, Prodigy, when was the last time you were in touch with your good friends from school? What does that have to do with anything? Oh, I'll tell you. After a word from our sponsor, Headshot TV. Headshot TV. Headshot TV. Jenny, for the next segment, let's kill the fill light and make the reaction coverage look harsh and ugly. Got it. I can feel you poking around in my thoughts, Little Red Riding Hoodlum. Or trying to, anyhow. Having fun in there? It's pretty loud. Standard issue Headshot TV Psychic Shield Neural Implant. Top streamers get them installed when we sign sponsorship contracts because intellectual property now belongs to the brand. There is something with the Headshot TV logo I can see in her head, other than her brain, I mean. Alright, X-Weirdos, hope you're ready for the big reveal. Are you excited, Helix? I'm excited. These cameras, tripods, light stands, all metal. You and me could take this whole place down in about 3 seconds tops. What do you say? Is that a we? Jenny, right? You're a mutant. Isn't everybody these days? Well, I already know you are because I can feel you sloppily rifling through my thoughts. Just seemed polite to ask. I can also feel exactly what you're curious about. You know you can just join us in Krakoa at any time you want, right? You mean I can move to a remote island populated with villains and a couple X-men who've already tried to kidnap me once before? Cool utopia, you guys. Helix is motioning us back on stage. Helix what? I hate it here. Headshot TV. We're your new family. Prodigy, I bet you miss your good friend, Sophia Montega. Yeah? Well, would you like to see her? Yes. And cue the ugly lighting. Oh God. It's Wind Dancer. The victim? It's Sophia. I know it's hard to see your friend allow herself to get shot on a Mojoverse livestream for the views, but you can't look away. No! You have to keep watching because she died for this. And we wouldn't want X Factor to miss any clues, of course. Oh, I have an idea. Let's have some viewer questions before I send X Factor off to where they'll find more answers as to how and why Sophia died. That sounds fun, right? Let me know your hashtag X Factor questions in the chat. And if you're enjoying my stream, don't forget to bump the feed. Every feed bump counts, so keep enough. We've already appeased this ridiculous circus of misery for far too long, Spiral. Tell us everything or we'll tear this whole place to the ground. You know we can. You're right. What have I been thinking? Clock's counting down after all. And here I am being selfish and keeping X Factor all to myself. I was going to tell you where Sophia's body is currently being preserved for her autopsy livestream, but since you're all in such a hurry, let me help you out. Wait, stop. I've teleported you over to the top stream. You'll find all your answers in the battle pits, X Factor. Good luck! I don't know. Seems dumb. What do you think, amazing baby? Isn't it weird to basically have all these, plant-based psychic voicemails spawning in here all the time? It's inefficient at best. I'm going to open one. Don't tell John Paul. I won't. Hey, amazing baby. What's up, stinky butt? I thought I was alone. What are you doing here? Is everyone else back yet? No, I just got kicked out of Mojoverse at the border crossing. Where's Kyle? He has to work early, so he went to bed. Why are you looking at me like that? I don't think I've ever actually seen you with your shirt on before. Listen, the reason I never wear a shirt is because I'm physically perfect. Just hear me out. Listening? You know what Pokemon are? Okay, so you do then. Laugh all you want, but it's a good comparison. I'm like a Pokemon with maxed out stats, born physically perfect, genetically. So I don't want to wear a shirt most of the time because I don't have to. Temperature extremes on either end still feel comfortable to me. Then why are you wearing a shirt now? You really want to know? Maybe. It's soft. Feel. Angora. Wait, I thought your name was Aurora. You love it. You love my dumb joke. Have I earned enough goodwill to ask you a personal question now? I suppose so, yes. What's up with the guy you were in Bellingham to hook up with? Stupid. We need to get up to the main ring. That's where the host of the channel is fighting. And then what? Have a nice chat? Gee, I don't know, team leader. If only we had someone to decide these things. Use the metal sheeting around the ring to clear a path for us. There we go. Coming through. Let's go. Let's get out of here. The manic bloodlust I'm picking up from this crowd is making me sick. Hurry, there's the rampway up to the main ring. You. This can't be real. Shatterstar's top stream combat ring studio home. Shatterstar? Huh? You're actually here? This is real? Lorna! It's so good to see a friendly face. Shatterstar, stop. What's going on here? I'm the top live streamer in the Mojoverse. I'm so glad you're here. I worried the message wouldn't make it to you. The box of blood on our doorstep. Communication to worlds outside Mojoverse can be difficult. It requires creativity. Are these? Oh, it's harmless. These are subscribers who've purchased premium access, but they can't get any closer than this. They would have torn me apart and devoured me by now if they could. Which is an unfortunate segue into why I reached out to you all. I'm assuming you're here to see Sophia. Are you excited about her autopsy too? I know Mojo is. Why are you talking like this? What's wrong with you? Nothing's wrong. I'm the most popular live streamer in the Mojoverse, and thanks to Mojo's glorious magnificence, I live very well. And what could be wrong about that? I'm not sure you have noticed, but the Mojoverse loves mutants these days. Loves them so much. Winddancer died on her own terms, here to feed that love. And why is a conversation that you will need to have with her. Upon her death, Mojo was very eager to feed Sophia's remains as compost to the Mojoverse clone mother, so that Sophia's mutant DNA could be dispersed into the next generation of clones. But I said, wait, stop, you can't do that. And at first, Mojo thought I was insane and wanted to reprogram my Headshot TV psychic shield neural net, but then I quickly explained. I told him, once her body is gone, we won't get a replacement. So what if there was a way to first, and then His Most Divine Magnificence understood and had a brilliant idea, as is his way. He's not lying about having a neural net. Trying to read his mind is like suffocating inside a tornado of noise, just like Spiral. But this isn't him. He said, oh, yes, of course. Why deprive viewers of bona fide mutant content just because she's dead? We'll live stream an autopsy. People will love seeing her insides and what makes a mutant really tick. This place has gotten a lot worse. But haven't you heard the good news? Mojoverse's economy is thriving. After live streaming, cloning has become the most robust industry in the Mojoverse. You can clone people with their memories intact here? No, not at all. Because what Arize does is even better. He makes thousands of physical carbon copies. Each one is synthetically born anew. A physically fit mental blank slate to be molded into whatever Mojo needs. That's revolting. Sophia is just over here. Her autopsy livestream should begin in about 20 minutes, so you should definitely be finished with what you need to do by then. A great number of citizens here are very eager for the autopsy livestream, and they will be violently disappointed if it's delayed. I don't know why he's talking like this, but that sounds like code for get her and get out. I'll just give you all a moment. Shatterstar? Hello, friend. You can't speak freely anymore, can you? Yeah, Okay, we should head out. I'll carry her. Absolutely not. No, it's okay. She's my friend. I should be the one. Speedsters. We gotta go, Lauren. Violent hordes imminent and all that. Shatterstar, come with us. You belong with X Factor. You're kind, but even if I wanted to leave, I can't. How can I possibly abandon everything wonderful I have here? I am so happy. We'll come back for you. I promise. Now, who's ready for more? Transcript of recovered transmission. Please note, I hated every minute of translating this. Guy used one cipher on 3 separate alien languages, and these broadcasts were never meant to be recovered. As far as I can tell, he was putting messages in bottles and throwing them out to sea. Except, Shatterstar was transmitting encrypted radio frequencies into space. Doug Ramsey. Communication outside Mojoverse is nearly impossible by design, so this is all I have left. I have no other means by which to howl, but I must. Transmission unrecoverable. Arize works closely with Mojo and creates endless waves of infinitely disposable people to keep up with the demand for cannon fodder on my channel. Each one of the clones is born a blank slate to be molded into whatever Mojo needs. Disgusting. I witnessed Arize's repulsive clone mother today, the living, throbbing gene databank from which all clones are pulled, and to which they will eventually return to as compost. She feeds on her children. I naively used to hope for this place to finally hit bedrock, but it never has. There is no worst, only worse and worse. We plummet endlessly here in the Mojoverse. It is the restless nature of consumption. A young mutant girl has arrived. I don't know how she learned of this place's obsession with mutants, and worry she came without fully understanding what it entails. As of now, she's live streaming and climbing the charts at a rapid clip, but a secret few of us within the top 5 live streamers are monitoring with great concern. We have come to an agreement that we cannot allow Mojo to access or study her DNA under any circumstances. Even depowered, transmission unrecoverable. And I am certain He would love nothing more than to add an X gene into his catalog of clonable horrors to replicate endlessly and to subjugate, as is his way. The young mutant girl was killed on livestream. She polled her followers, and it was their most fervent, perverse wish to watch her die in real time for their pleasure. Her last words were to her hired executioner, "Let's give the people what they want." Mojo was practically drooling in his excitement to feed the girl's body to the clone mother, but I tried to stall him so I could send for help. I lied, and transmission unrecoverable. I keep processing every fresh horror I see as this is the thing that finally broke me, only to immediately discover the next fresh horror that does the same thing all over again. I feel like a snake forced to shed its skin over and over again. What will even be left of me after all of this is over? I don't know. I'm afraid. I will just be the series of husks I had to shed in my wake. Who I once was is now dispersed across 1,000 tumbleweeds, each one abandoned to roll aimlessly with the breeze. I am so lonely. Junpol has for some reason ignored my adamant declaration that I do not work for him nor X Factor, and insists I write a summary of what I viewed during my couch potato day at the boneyard spent riveted by Mojoverse channels. I understand his intent but disagree with his motives, and detailing the ways in which Jean-Paul is wrong, well, that I am happy to explain. I admittedly flipped away from the streams X Factor was appearing on pretty quickly, but one might argue that provided me with a more accurate overall vision of Mojoverse media. My first surprise came in the form of discovering Major Domo's ASMR channel, but it makes sense once you listen to his soft, droning baritone for more than 30 seconds and become drowsy. He also clicks various things with his long nails and whispers into an exceptionally sensitive microphone about their illustrious, gleaming, moist God King Mojo. Arize's channel was the next surprise. It's some kind of meditation spiritual feed he runs from his clone lab. And while I applaud his gentle encouragement of physical activity, while following along to one of his yoga routines from the boneyard living room, I did find it disconcerting each time I glanced up and saw those faceless clones mimicking his every movement. To be perfectly frank, Arize Shine seems like the kind of thing you turn on when you just want to look at pretty colors melting into each other while becoming one with the couch. But the biggest surprise by far came in the form of Adam X's channel. It's the 5th most popular livestream in the Mojoverse and is devoted to commentary entertainment. Yes, the title alone raised my hackles as well. And that was before noting the hourly promos for Sophia's autopsy using the footage of her death. There is quite a lot of death broadcast live from his studio. Showcasing violence in lurid detail is packaged with his content, but this isn't combat like Shatterstar's more popular stream. These are snuff films, for which he provides commentary. Whether he is cognizant of doing this or not, when the inevitable collapse of Mojoverse's current culture collapses, Adam X will have curated a very comprehensive and detailed archive of the way these people are suffering while thousands more idly watch. I say people, and they are, but with Sophia's notable exception, I am otherwise referring to the many, many clones that Arize populates this world with. They are somewhat like lab rats, I think. It's difficult to explain, but being a person who had just freshly been resurrected that morning and was watching all of this, I could see the difference in Krakoa's synthesized immortality for mutants versus the way endless physical duplicates were churned out of this system specifically to be toyed with, hunted for sport, or executed for profit. Overall, I find the honesty of the Mojoverse channel's brutality to be somewhat refreshing. Jean-Paul flatly condemns it. But as often happens, he is wrong. Aurora.
Okay, whoa, that was a really wild issue of X Factor. Very interesting story and a lot to unpack here. So starting straight from the top, we see that clearly X Factor has recovered and beats the brakes off this pod, this team of fighters that's trying to take them down. The neural net that robbed Northstar and Polaris of their powers was a cheap knockoff, so their powers came back pretty fast and they pretty much wiped them. Then we get the return of one of my personal favorite characters in the X-Men universe, Spiral. She's such a I just love her for that. Just so snarky and like sarcastic, even with her own boss Mojo, who we don't see in this issue, but she does reference him. Several characters actually reference him as different titles like God King and Moist Magnificence and all kinds of gross But specifically in this issue, we are introduced to Spiral's Showcase, which is one of the top live streams in the Mojoverse, and for good reason. Spiral is a great showman. She is putting on great shows, she has great content, and she probably has a lot of favor from Mojo, being his like #1 and all. Spiral is the host of her own show, and is kind of playing this exaggerated role of host to get the crowd excited to bump the feeds, which is basically getting hits, getting views on the live stream, because as we've learned, the more viewers and the more emotes and all that kind of stuff they drop, the better their economy is, the more money each individual streamer gets. Is very relevant to today's media consumption and the way, you know, we are set up in society now with TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and all that kind of stuff. The media consumption is the real villain and the real looming danger here in this issue. And it has been in other X books, especially in New Mutants, where they have focused on this doxing site where they broadcast mutants' locations and their addresses and phone numbers and all that online, so people can like go out and hurt them. So that also kind of plays into that narrative of the danger of media consumption and online trolls and all that kind of stuff. So this is also playing out here, but to a much more extreme degree, because Mojoverse is all about consumption and greed, pretty much just regurgitating and eating itself over and over again. And I like the way that this is put later on in the decoded transmissions that Doug Ramsey got a hold of from Shatterstar, detailing what he's seen in the Mojoverse in the last however long he's been there and this whole media empire started. I'm not sure how long it's been going on, but it seems to be relatively new, maybe since the start of the Krakoan age. We don't know. But we learned that the mutant that is dead, that they are there to investigate and find, is Sophia Montega, which for those of you who do not remember, Sophia Montega, aka Wind Dancer, was a mutant that was introduced in the pages of New X-Men alongside Prodigy. So that's why Prodigy has taken this significantly harder than everyone else, because he knew her on such a personal level. She's also one of the mutants that was depowered, much like Melody Guthrie that we saw in X-Men issue #7 go through the Crucible to get her powers back. Now, why Sophia did not go through the same process of Crucible, we don't know. Perhaps this happened before Crucible was set up, or maybe she was... I don't know why she chose to go this route, but it sounds like she didn't understand this could be a danger to her life. Maybe she just thought that she could pretty much go up here and start a stream and just live good in the Mojoverse as a depowered mutant. I'm not really sure. So hopefully we'll get some answers in the next issue of X Factor. But apparently Sophia was pretty much requested to get killed by her own viewers as something that they really wanted to see. They polled on her streaming channel that they wanted to see her die, and she acquiesced. It's really crazy to think about, like, what was in it for her, or maybe there was a contract that she couldn't get out of, like she had to go through with it. It's really crazy because they even said that she hired her own executioner. So I don't know, that's pretty dark, honestly. I wasn't expecting that element of this mystery that X Factor is unraveling here, but it does add another dimension to this mystery where the victim is maybe not a victim. Maybe she was a willing participant in her own death, and it seems to be that's the case. So as X Factor pushes forward through Spiral, she sends them away from her studio to go to Sophia's autopsy, which is of course also going to be live streamed. And then we get reintroduced to another fan favorite character, Shatterstar. Shatterstar is one of those interesting characters that is super weird but really cool at the same time. He's basically a mutate. I'm not quite sure how this is categorized. So his father is Longshot, who was created in the Mojoverse, and his mother is apparently Dazzler from the future, and there's some time travel involved. Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. Anyway, he is a great fighter. He has these really cool swords that vibrate and transform, or I don't know. He's weird, okay? So he is also a love interest of Richter as well in the past. So I'm not sure how long he's been away from the other mutants in Mojoverse doing his own thing, but it seems like it's been a while because they seem kind of shocked to see him there. I mean, I would be shocked to see one of my former teammates just kind of posted up in Mojoverse, bumping the feeds. He's pretty much like Roman Reigns or The Rock or whatever, and everybody's screaming their heads off for him, and he's out here slicing up clone people all day, and they're loving it, and he's pretty much the top rated stream of all. So it's really macabre and very dark, and it speaks a lot to media consumption again, and how we as a people just ingest and consume the most depraved and disgusting content, but yet it just keeps coming and it keeps getting worse and we keep getting desensitized to it. And in Shatterstar's case, it's almost like he is a prisoner of his own making as well, and it kind of gives you a light into maybe how Sophia felt as well, because he has all of these cameras following him. It's almost like a black cloud, a swarm of insects, these cameras that are like watching him so closely, like inches away from him, and they're all around him. And he even says that if they could get closer to him than that, if they could get up right on him, they would tear him apart and eat him and devour him. And he says it like funnily, like ha ha ha, but he's dead serious. And that's kind of crazy, because that's a celebrity kind of thing too, that people just want to be so close to their celebrity idols, and their obsession just gets crazier and crazier. And Mojo is betting on this. Mojo is banking on this. He's probably really loving this era of Mojoverse. And I mean, it makes sense. It fits his world perfectly, this whole new age media consumption kind of trend that they're on. So interesting stuff that's going on in Mojoverse, and blending it in with this mystery of this dead girl, this dead depowered mutant in Sophia Montega, aka Wind Dancer. And we do spend a little bit of time with North Star's sister Aurora back in the Boneyard, and she runs into Akihiro, or Deken, who got kicked out of the Mojoverse in a previous issue, and he is there cooking, and they get into a discussion about, you know, the nature of Akihiro and his powers, being that he is a genetically perfect physical specimen, and he admits that freely. And it wasn't even in a cocky kind of way that he presents it. It's just factual that he is so perfect, and he has this really great Pokemon metaphor for the way he looks at himself as a Pokemon with maxed out stats. I thought was really great. And, you know, things seem to be really cutesy between them in the beginning, and he probably was using his charm and pheromones, maybe a little bit on her, to get her to drop her guard, because what he was really after was more information as to why she died and what she was doing in Bellingham, and the person that she was meeting on that bridge where they found his car, you know, down in that river. And she did not like to be questioned. She did not like being caught off guard, and she zips out of there at full speed. So Akihiro was not able to get any more information. I thought that was a very clever kind of insert into character building between them two, and also showing that Akihiro's not all about being a hoe, basically. And that's kind of like what he's been characterized as a lot of time, which is a big part of his character as well. He's very sexually free, but he's not a dummy, and he doesn't have a one-track mind either. He understands the assignment. So a lot went down in X Factor issue number 3. I am really surprised, and pleasantly so, at the developments that are happening so far, and I'm really interested going forward to see what shakes loose in this story. If you enjoyed this episode, please give me that thumbs up, and if you'd like to become a member of my channel, please go to my page and check that join tab, where there are memberships available, very affordable ones, where you can get early access to all of my content days and days earlier than everyone else, and customizable content like emojis, backgrounds, all kinds of stuff that you might want. So thank you again for joining me as I talk about everything X-Men, and I'll catch you in the next issue.